You know, when you cover court cases as an investigative journalist, sometimes true to stranger in fiction, sometimes fiction doesn't seem to be the truth. Well, we're going to go over a very interesting case that came up in the Ottawa region a number of years ago involving the Royal Canadian Mint. Thievery, money laundering, gold theft, and possibly insertion of certain items in a certain body orifice to pass security at the Mint. Now, in a write-up we're publishing with permission or narrating with permission from the Ottawa Citizen, a Royal Canadian Mint worker was convicted of theft and money laundering Wednesday. This was in mid-November 2016, after a judge ruled he smuggled out 162,000 Canadian gold nuggets, likely in his rectum, an inside job that sparked tittering around the world. Ontario Justice Peter Doody, real name, accepted the Crown theory that Leston Lawrence, 35, snuck 22 gold discs called pucks in a body cavity to evade metal detectors at the fortress-like building on Sussex Drive. There was no other reasonable conclusion, Doody ruled, in a case a late-night American talk show dubbed Gold Sphincter to lead a mockery parade. Vaseline and latex gloves were recovered in his locker. The pucks seized from his safe deposit box exactly matched the kind he made in a refinery. He repeatedly set off the metal detector exiting the Mint's secure area. There was no plausible explanation for the thousands of dollars he wired out of the country. In my view, Doody said in an hour-long ruling, there's only one conclusion that can be reached when the totality of the evidence is considered, that Leslie Lawrence secreted gold pucks out of the Mint. Now, the evidence from the records of the Archway metal detectors is consistent with the defendant having regularly secreted gold in his rectum. Lawrence, accompanied by a young woman, sat stoically in the back row of courtroom 13. For long stretches he had his eyes closed, but at least once he was seen checking his cell phone. He hurried out of court when it adjourned. The fired refinery operator returned to court November 28 for sentencing submissions, and Crown Attorney David Friesen signaled he would be looking for jail time and possible forfeiture of the ill-gotten booty, or assets. Justice Doody outlined a powerful circumstantial case. Court heard Lawrence set off the Archway metal detector, which all 1,000 secure area employees must pass through, 28 times in 41 days between December 15, 2014 and March 2, 2015. Often the readings were sky-high, the equivalent of carrying a concealed knife. Still, he was cleared each time by a secondary search with a handheld wand. In fact, the Mint never began investigating Lawrence, nor did it ever discover independently that its gold stock was being stolen. Lawrence's old carelessness led to his undoing. The court heard that he fell into the habit of selling the pucks, which weigh about 220 grams, or which would be a little bit around 8 ounces, to Ottawa gold buyers in the Westgate Shopping Centre on Carling Avenue. He would then take the checks he received, usually in the $8,000 range, and deposit the funds at his old Royal Bank branch in the same mall. On February 6, 2015, he tried to deposit 2 gold buyers' checks worth $15,261 at the Royal and wire $14,700 to a company in Jamaica. When a teller became suspicious, he replied that he just sold gold nuggets to a neighboring firm. A giant red flag went up when she spied on his bank profile. He was a Mint employee. The RCMP were soon called to the case, putting him under surveillance. Search warrants led to discovery of 4 of the gold pucks in his safety deposit box, and records indicated he already sold 2018 others. A search of his home yielded wire transfers to Jamaica and the States. Now, the court heard Lawrence was arranging to build a home in Kingston, Jamaica, and buy a $45,000 U.S. boat from a marina in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Almost $35,000 had been transferred to Jamaican contractor, and about $35,000 to the boat supplier. And this Justice Doody noted from a man who made about $55,000 annually at the Mint. It just didn't add up. Thus, he was convicted on all 5 charges, including theft, money laundering, possession of stolen property, and breach of trust, offenses that can carry lengthy prison terms. The case also provided a rare peek into Mint's inside security, called appalling by defense lawyer Gary Barnes. Defense lawyer. Now, Justice Doody noted there was only one video camera in a huge refinery section where Lawrence worked. Often staff worked alone and out of view, so the camera was virtually useless. The Mint bought reclaimed gold from several sources, but used its own purifying process to make some of the finest gold in the world. And anybody that's a coin fan knows that the Mint makes some of the best gold ever. One of Lawrence's jobs was to melt raw batches of gold and operate a chlorination process to remove impurities. Along the way, the batch was tested by dipping a custom-made spoon into molten gold, then cooling it to make a puck, which was then tested for purity. The cylindrical pucks are about the diameter of a golf ball and have a nubbly top. It was these pucks Lawrence was convicted of first pocketing, then hiding on his person. Barnes had agreed there was no way to prove the unmarked pucks came from the Mint. The judge didn't buy it, and a slippery case was closed. Now again, this is quoted with permission by writer Kelly Egan with Post Media, very good young writer. Now the indication is the smuggling case was probably one of the few times in Ontario history that someone was caught for it, and the total amount again was $180,000. Now the follow-up article, he got 30 months in jail. Now this was considered quite low at the time, and according from a CBC article, he must pay all the money back within 3 years of his release or serve 30 more months. Now, again, guilty of stealing pucks. He was also guilty of possession of property obtained by crime, conveying gold out of the Mint, and breach of trust by a public official. Because he was a public official, that's why he got the big jail term. Now, the Crown wanted 3 years and the defense wanted 18 months. Crown attorney David Friesen said Lawrence should be sentenced to 3 years in prison, arguing that the offenses took place over several months and was not simply a one-off, and Lawrence is not demonstrating remorse. Now Barnes, the defense lawyer, said his client should only get 18 months, and said the lack of security played a huge factor. Now, speaking to reporters outside the court, Barnes called Doodie's decision careful and meticulous. It was difficult to quibble with what he had to say. Lawrence is reacting very well to the media interest in the case, Barnes said, and accepts the outcome of the trial. We expected all along. When no one showed up for the first week, we were sort of under the radar. That was very, very surprising. He's sitting there looking at what the judge had done, and he accepts that he has been convicted. Now, in an email statement, a Mink spokesperson wrote that several improvements have been made to the security system, including upgrades to our facilities, security checkpoint and screening process, upgrades to our camera system to high definition, which provides real-time monitoring, and we will work closely with the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority to establish more robust scanning training of our employees. Now, initially they were saying it was worth $190,000, but eventually became $180,000 because I guess he misquoted the value of the gold at the time. Now, what's quite interesting with this whole case is that no one expected somebody to even try this. Now, why was it successful? Well, no offense. Most Canadians are very trustworthy, and this was one of the most trustworthy facilities until the Lawrence case, which has become a precedent. You don't trust people as much as you did before. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever visit a Royal Canadian Mint or read up about it, this has become kind of a legendary story. But I must assure you that most people who work in the Mint, the highest percentage possible, are reputable, hard-working people. It's just this guy wanted the boat, he wanted the house. And being from Jamaica, I know a lot of people from Jamaica. They're very smart people. There's no stupid people from Jamaica. So if he's going to be a criminal, the best place to be a criminal from is Jamaica, because they think things out. I give you an example of what I mean, why I think people from Jamaica are more intelligent than a lot of people give them credit for. They don't side with Britain or the United States. Are always kind of like an independent thinking country. That alone tells you. Look what Usain Bolt. He messed up in his first Olympics. He became the greatest runner of all time. Like I said, nothing smarter than a Jamaican when he puts something in his mind to it. Anyway, This is my theory, anyway. Have a good day. Bye.